What is going on, man? Shit. 6 days since the last posted. It's for good reason because I've been working on a little video, which is this one today, for y'all. And it is peptides to ascend in 2026. So what are the best peptides to ascend in 2026? Man, I missed y'all. Shout out to the 36 people last week that watched my video. Fucking love you guys. So we're going to be covering all bases today on ascending in the big 25. Sorry, 6. Fucking hell. And this is just solely focusing on peptides. I've picked these peptides only for their cosmetic properties and nothing else. You know, there are added benefits to these peptides, not just the cosmetic sides. But we won't get into that shit because it's boring. So we've got peptides for skin, tanning, weight loss, muscle building. Now I'm going to be breaking down the benefits as well as the science, a little bit of the science. I'm not going to bore you guys forever with that shit, but a little bit of the science as well as the benefits to stacking these peptides or taking these peptides. What is the first thing that everyone fucking looks at? It's your skin, it's your face, all right? People are noticing that shit if you have anything funky or weird going on. And that brings me on to my first peptide on the list, and that is GHK-CU. Now, GHK-CU is awesome. Now, why is it awesome? Because it is a copper binding peptide. If you didn't already know what copper is, it is a essential mineral in the body that's used for repair signaling. Now, the benefits are pretty interesting. So a lot of you guys think that it's just for the skin, but if you didn't already know, GHK-CU is actually fucking fantastic for supporting your hair follicle growth. So if you're balding still and the big 26, man, what are you doing? What are you doing? You shouldn't be balding anymore. If you are balding, sort it out. If you are recessing, sort it out. If it's too far gone, go to fucking Turkey and get a hair transplant. Okay, there is no reason to still be balding or receding in this day and age. We have the tools, okay, and one of them being GHK-CU. This is also amazing if you pair it with dutasteride and also oromonoxidil. All right, so there's no reason to be balding anymore, guys. Come on, sort it out. Also, if you are struggling with joint pains and soft tissue, this will also help support repairing, repairing the body, as well as using BPC 157 and CB 500 together. GHK-CU stacked with that actually supports the healing in all areas of the body. So, soft tissue, muscle, tendon, ligaments, also the skin being the largest organ in the body. All right, now moving on to skin. Now, this is what it's mainly known for. So, it's going to upregulate collagen synthesis and angiogenesis. So, angiogenesis is new blood vessel formation. It's also going to boost antioxidant enzymes, and it's going to boost the skin's elastin, as well as also down-regulating all the other nasty shit, all the other nasty inflammation, excessive tissue breakdown, and scar-forming pathways. So yeah, everything that this peptide does is going to support the tissue in all sorts of different ways. If you're currently on your journey to becoming Chad, okay, and you're using isotretinoin, this is also great to pair with it, as isotretinoin works against certain mechanisms in the body, whereas GHK-CU is going to work alongside your body. It is your best friend if you're using something like that, and they're going to complement each other heavily. Okay, so what is happening when your lab rat is injecting GHK-CU? So once GHK-CU enters the body, it circulates in a copper-bound form and naturally gravitates towards stressed or damaged tissue. There it binds the cells and starts to trigger repair signaling by changing gene expression. So basically how well your body can handle healing. So there we have it, guys. GHK-CU for the #1 peptide on the list of the big 26. Moving on to, we have retatrutide and tirzepatide. Now these are both triple and double GLP agonist weight loss peptides. They're studied in clinical trials with their effectiveness on obesity. That also goes for people with poor appetite control, people struggling with binge eating or insulin resistance, and people like you and me, because what do me and you have in common? Well, we want to stay lean, we want to stay shredded, we want to stay looking good, right? So that is what we have in common. So benefits, again, much like GHK-CU, You know, we only think GHK-CU is for the skin, but when it comes to retatrutide and tirzepatide, the benefits are not only just weight loss. Okay, so there are a bunch of underlying positives to this peptide. Now you might be wondering why I'm laughing, and that's because there is a whole fucking list of them, like a massive list of benefits to this peptide, or these peptides. I'm not going to go into depth on each benefit because we'd be here all fucking day, and fuck that shit. You guys have got better shit to do than to look at my ugly mug. So here we go. We're going to get strong, very strong, powerful appetite suppression. So you eat less, meaning that you get more shredded. Improved insulin sensitivity, improved blood sugar markers, overall reduced inflammation markers, cardiovascular protection, improved lipid profiles, better gut-brain signaling, improved metabolic markers, muscle preservation, increased energy output, and far better fat oxidation. Whew. See what I mean? Be here all fucking day. And yeah, this stuff, it works. It is powerful. It is potent. You will get shredded. You will get unbelievably godlike shredded. That is good. That is good for me. That is good for you. So what is happening in the body when you are injecting GLP peptides? After the initial injection, GLP-1 peptides are going to circulate around in the body and bind to GLP receptors, the pancreas, the gut, and the brain. This enhances glucose-dependent insulin release, slows the gastric emptying, so how often you're fucking taking a shit, and suppresses hunger signals in the hypothalamus. Now that is happening through the gut and brain pathways. The result is stabilized blood sugar, reduced appetite, and sustained fat loss through hormonal signaling. All right, so next on the list we have muscle building peptides to ascend in the Big 26. All right, so we have CJC1295 and ipamorelin, or with ipamorelin. These peptides are going to increase growth hormone, leading to an increase in IGF-1, insulin, like growth factor 1. So what does this mean for you? Well, it means more muscle growth. It means more fat loss. It means deeper sleep, harder training, and better recovery. So 45 minutes after initial administration, your growth hormone levels are going to spike. That is going to tell your hypothalamus to give the green light, and it's going to start signaling downstream towards your liver. Once it hits your liver, it is going to then convert into IGF-1, which is then going to stimulate muscle protein synthesis, increasing muscle fiber size and stimulating muscle stem cells. The biggest dude in your gym is probably using insulin, by itself. And there's a reason why. It's because it is very fucking anabolic. It is shuttling nutrients into the muscles. The more IGF-1 that we can release, the more size we can put on. And that also goes for these peptides here. Okay, so let me explain this shit. Your body is already sending signals to your brain to release more growth hormone. CJC and ipamorelin just help boost these signals. So you're not actually overriding your natural production like HGH would. Kind of just giving it a little nudge. My shit straight up died on me, so we're back. Made the bed. Okay, so more muscle growth, more fat loss, better recovery, deeper sleep, better skin quality, improved resistance to injury, and longer training longevity. So yeah, I would say that there is a bit of a difference when it comes to steroids versus peptides. They can only support you so much. They're not going to turn you into a fucking freak. But it is definitely something to look into for your lab rat. Okay, I think it's like third on the list. The next and final peptide on the list is going to be Melanotan 2. This peptide is basically going to lose your rights. It is a tanning peptide which is going to act on your melanocyte pathways, increasing melanin production with very minimal sun exposure, allowing you to change races. Basically, the easiest way to fix your coloring is to get tanner, and this will fix exactly that. But I really need you guys to know this. I was taking this peptide. Actually, before I tell you, I've got a friend who uses a tanning bed twice a week while on Melanotan 2, and he is absolutely fine. Why is he fine? Because he has a different skin type to me. I am very prone to freckles and moles, and this peptide is notorious for darkening moles and freckles on the skin because it acts on all pigmentation on the skin. So if you have moles or freckles, or you think that you might have them, because I didn't even know that I had moles and freckles that were on my skin until I took this peptide, which is kind of scary. I got a few more on my legs and face. The pigmentation must have been hidden deep under my skin, or on the surface maybe. I'm really not too sure. That shit just came out of nowhere. And I was like, nah, fuck this shit, man. I don't want any more moles on my face. I already got enough. They have faded a decent amount, but they're still there, which is worrying. So I'm glad that I stopped. But you know, this peptide actually isn't bad. It's not a bad peptide. It's just bad if you have the wrong skin type. If you're already olive skinned and you don't have any moles or freckles, then go hard, you know. But if you're white like me, like super white, don't bother. Or just make sure that you don't have moles and freckles. A lot of gingers, they hop on this stuff. Yes, they get tan, but holy shit. The moles, the freckles, not worth it. This peptide is really good, you know, during the summer when you're trying to cut, you're trying to get a bit more shredded, because it's going to crush your appetite a little bit. Not to the point that retatrutide would, but you know, it's definitely going to affect your appetite. It's also going to affect your libido. When I took it, I didn't really notice much of a change with my libido. I found that maybe my erections were stronger, but in terms of libido, not really, debatable. And I also got a lot of nausea when pitting this stuff. All right, all the other peptides, I haven't had really much of a problem with. Even retatrutide, I don't get nauseous from it. When it came to this shit though, the loading phase, well, not the loading phase, but I would call it a reverse loading phase, because most people out there telling you, hey, you should be taking 250 micrograms 3 times per week when you're first starting. But I actually reckon you need to lower the dose all the way down to 50 micrograms per week when you're first starting, because that way you can test and see how your body reacts to it in terms of getting more freckles and moles, and also nausea. Like, that is such a cunt. I think I was just talking about that. But you know, having a lower dose when you're first starting, the nausea, if you are prone to getting nausea on it, you're going to find out pretty quick. And if you are taking a massive dose all at once, you're going to fry yourself. Okay, so even at a low dose for me, 50 micrograms, when I did the initial loading phase, I was very nauseous. So these are all things to be mindful of if you are debating running Melanotan 2. Just take the precautions necessary. Just be smart about it, okay? Don't rush into a massive loading phase. Just start low, like I did. I feel like it's a little bit hypocritical of me to tell you guys to do this when I had all these side effects, but I'm telling you that this is probably the best approach. That was a bit of a yap, but this peptide was actually originally designed and made for people like me, white people, very, very pale people, because we burn very easily. With Melanotan 2, you can work up a tan a lot faster, meaning that you are going to be blocking a lot more harmful UV and UVB rays as a result, because you are darker. The darker you are, the less light you can let in. Your pigmentation is kind of deflecting the sun. That's why you barely see like actual African people get burnt. Just African people in general. If you're black, then you're probably a lot less likely to get burnt. So that is the final peptide for the list, ascending in the big 2026. Look, I know that these videos aren't the flashiest, and I appreciate you, really appreciate you for sticking through to the end. I know that our attention spans are short, but I love you for that. At the end of the day, you guys came here for the information, and I hope that you got some value out of this video. If you want to see more content, it is very motivating when you guys subscribe, like, and comment. Makes me want to make more videos for you guys. I like making videos. Hopefully I can get a fucking new camera someday, because this one sucks real bad. Do all those things I just mentioned, because it's going to help push this video out into the algorithm. If you need peptides, head over to www.gandhilabspeptides.com and use code META at the checkout for 10% off your order. Enough of this shit. I'll send you guys on your day. Love you.